Hello everyone! This is going to be different. In spite of my attempts to be very organized and plan my video schedule well in advance, which worked out very well last month, and is going sort of well this month, I find myself with nothing to review this weekend. It's not that I don't have plenty of choices, it's too complicated to go into. So I have a folder on my desktop that is titled Back Burner, and it has all the video ideas and half-finished projects that I've worked on since I started YouTubing. And I found this idea, and I thought, okay, we can try that. Maybe it'll work. I hope you like it. Here are 25, give or take, random facts about me, not in any particular order. My name is not really Jerome Weaselberry. Some of you already know this, some of you don't, and maybe it's an earth-shattering revelation. I hope not. I have a video where I explain the channel name and how I started the channel, so if you have questions and you want to hear more, you can go ahead and watch that. There's a link up here and a link down there. And unfortunately, for those of you who clicked on this video hoping I was going to reveal my real name and any other personal information about me, I'm sorry. You're going to be disappointed. I am still keeping my personal, private information private. I am the youngest of 5 children. There are 15 years between me and my eldest sibling, and 6.5 years between me and my closest sibling in age. I have a lot of collections. The owl collection, most of you know about, and if you don't know about it, there's a video on that. And I guess I am also a book collector, although I've never really listed that as one of the things I collect. For anyone who's curious, yes, I did a bookshelf tour as well. There's a link to that. I used to collect a lot of palm tree stuff. I have no idea why, and I still have all those things, of course, but the owl collecting kind of took over. I do have some, well, I guess all the palm tree stuff isn't out right now. Here's something. It says my hair claws and elastics in it. Makeup brushes and a palm tree dish. I also collect keychains, bookmarks, pens, pencils, stickers. That's a really old one. I don't really collect stickers anymore. I just still have my sticker books from when I was a kid. I wear glasses because I am very nearsighted. I wear them all the time out of habit. I don't need them to read, but they stay on my face all the time. It gets to the point where it feels weird to not have them on. I got glasses when I was in 5th grade, and it was a huge bummer. I didn't want to wear glasses. I didn't want to have a thing on my face, and I didn't wear them consistently the way I was supposed to for quite a while. I finally capitulated when I realized that I could see much better with them on, and especially see what the teacher was writing on the whiteboard, which was pretty important when you're in school. Ice cream is one of my favorite treats in life, even though I have a lot of cold sensitivity in my teeth and ice cream tends to bother me, but it doesn't matter, I will eat it anyway. Mint chocolate chip is my favorite flavor and has been for a long time. I am one of those people who, when I go to a place that's selling ice cream and has like 24 flavors to choose from, I stare at the menu trying to pick something different and weighing all my options as if my life depends on it, and then 9 times out of 10 I end up getting mint chocolate chip anyway. The first book to ever make me cry was Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. I think it's Wilson Rawls. This was a shock to me, not just because I'd never cried over a book before, but because the content wasn't the kind of thing that I would think I would get emotional about. This kid and his dogs, I don't care about that. But, yep, I was a complete mess, and it was such a foreign experience. The first movie that made me cry was The Lion King. The animated version, not the live-action version. I can't believe I have to specify that now. But yes, I had seen The Lion King a few times and not cried, and then I guess I reached a new level of maturity or something, and the scene where Mufasa dies, I got all emotional, and then I was like, what's happening to me? And now I can't even watch the movie without feeling emotional. I can't watch a lot of Disney movies without getting choked up at some point. Dumbo, the baby mine sequence? No way. I can't even think about it without getting emotional. The Land Before Time? No, it's not Disney, but it's animated. I can't watch that movie. The last time I watched it, I spent at least half of it in tears, and It was a miserable experience. It is cathartic to cry while you're watching a movie, but it is very inconvenient. And also, I'm a person that doesn't like to cry in front of other people. I hate it. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with being emotional and showing your vulnerability to other people and showing that you're sensitive. But I don't know, for some reason I feel really uncomfortable about showing that much emotion. Fortunately, my mom doesn't really care to watch animated movies, so if I'm going to turn into a soppy mess watching one of them, chances are I'm going to be alone. Although when we watched The Land Before Time last, she was with me, but she fell asleep just a few minutes into it, so I was blissfully alone. The Lion King was my favorite animated movie when I was a kid. Well, Sleeping Beauty was my favorite princess animated movie. I don't know where this whole thing came from, where we divide the Disney movies in half between princess and non-princess movies. I don't know. I didn't do that when I was little. But Sleeping Beauty and The Lion King, they were my two favorite animated films. My favorite live-action, non-animated, as I called it when I was little, film was 101 Dalmatians, which is based on a Disney animated movie. I loved it, and I watched it a lot, and laughed so hard, and I haven't seen it in ages. I have no idea if it still holds up. I kind of hope so, but I almost don't want to watch it again to find out. I mentioned playing in the high school band a few videos ago, and some of you asked what did I play, and I responded, but here's me telling everybody who watches the video. I played the flute and the piccolo. I started playing the flute in 4th grade, and played that all the way through, and then in high school, I had to play the piccolo, and I hated it at first, and then I kind of loved it. My high school band was pathetically small. Small town, small school, really tiny band. We did double as a pep band, and we did play for football games and in parades and stuff. So we needed a piccolo. It was me. I almost quit band because I didn't want to have to do the marching band part. It was mandatory. Everybody who did one had to do the other. But I did love my band director, and she persuaded me to stay on, and I'm glad I did. It was a good thing. I don't really play any other instruments. I did try to teach myself how to play the ukulele, but I gave up after I broke one of the strings trying to tune it, and stringed instruments just don't work for me. For some reason, I can't coordinate my hands. But I do sort of play the piano. I say sort of because I taught myself how to play the piano when I was a kid, and the way I play is sufficient for my happiness. It is not proper playing. You know what I said a minute ago about stringed instruments and coordinating my hands? It applies to the piano as well. I use the fake method, where you're doing guitar chords on this hand, the left hand, and playing everything else with the right. I have tried to learn how to read the bass clef and play an independent thing over here, and I'm not saying I can't do it, that sounds defeatist, but it's just not pleasant. And when I sit down to play the piano, I want to play for fun, and I don't want to have to practice something and labor over it and have a miserable time. I want to get out my musical books or my oldies books, or I have some classical sheet music as well, and I want to just play songs and have a good time. So I have not been very disciplined about learning how to play piano properly, but I'm happy enough with the way I play the way it is. Going back to playing the flute and high school band and everything, I did have a problem with performance anxiety. Nervousness was definitely an issue for me. I would get so nervous. I was always nervous anyway. I had kind of a ridiculous amount of stress going to school on a normal basis. I don't know why, but there were certain times when it was an issue and my nervousness would upset my stomach. I think the worst time this happened was the one time that I played in the orchestra pit. We were doing a High School Musical production of Beauty and the Beast. I was playing the flute and reading the oboe and English horn part, and I don't know why I was so anxious, but we did 5 performances, I think. 2 weekends, 5 performances, and I was nervous to the point of being sick before every single one. And that is not good. That is not healthy, and it's not the way you want to be before you're about to sit there for like a 2.5 hour performance. The weird thing is that I would be sick and then I'd feel okay. And that's the way a lot of my anxiety works. A lot of it is the buildup of getting somewhere and going in, and the logistics of, okay, where do I have to go? What's this going to be like? Once I'm there, it's okay. The anxiety and the stress level goes down. So once I was in the orchestra pit and the show was starting and we were off, it was alright. And I never did the orchestra pit again. Actually, they never required me. Even though I didn't finish reading Harry Potter, and at this point I don't think I'm going to, I just have so many other things that I'm much more interested in reading. It was never for me. But I did log on to Pottermore and do the Sorting Hat. It didn't go the way I expected. I didn't think that Gryffindor was ever a possibility. Hufflepuff, not very likely. I was hoping for Ravenclaw. I got sorted into Slytherin. Yep, the house that all the bad guys are in. That's me! On the plus side, I love the green. Green is one of my favorite colors. I like a lot of different shades of green, and that's awesome. On the other hand, snakes? Really? I hate snakes. That has to be the house that I get sorted in? The house that has the snake as its symbol? Ugh. I was slightly appalled when this first happened, and then I found out that a few of my friends had also been sorted into Slytherin, and I felt a little better about that, and then I came to terms with it after a while. You just have no idea how devious I am. When I was in 9th grade, kind of around the height of my Phantom of the Opera obsessiveness, I set out to write a musical. It was terrible. It was a melodramatic mess that had a love quadrangle, and I'm pretty sure most of the characters died at the end. Actually, I think all of the characters died at the end. And it was terrible. But I did write one song, and I'm actually pretty proud of that song. It's pretty, it's sad, it has awful lyrics, but I play it every now and then, and I still feel like it's decent. I never got my ears pierced because I didn't want the pain. When I was little, my sister got her ears pierced, and there were certain things about that whole event that scarred me for life, and I always said, nope, I don't need that. I'll just do without earrings. It's fine. I'm not really a jewelry person anyway. I'm probably much shorter than you think I am. 5'2.5". I took the Myers-Briggs personality test a few years ago, and it said I was an ISFJ-T. When I was in high school, I tried to teach myself how to speak German from a musical, Tanz der Vampire. It did not go well. I did learn some stuff about pronunciation, and I learned some words and some phrases, but most of it is wildly impractical, stuff that you would never say to anyone in real life. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and my family members watching this are probably thinking, kind of, and that's probably why it takes me longer to make a video than it should. I have zero legitimate acting experience outside of a few very embarrassing school projects. One was a short horror film made for a television productions class in middle school. My part mainly consisted of me running through a cornfield, shrieking and screaming my head off. It was the middle of October and cold, and I was sick the next day, so that was dumb. Another was a ninth grade English class group project adapting the Odyssey. Guess who got to play Odysseus? Also Paris, you know, the guy who falls in love with Helen of Troy and wants her so bad that he starts a war. Everybody else in my group, which was mostly girls, wanted to run around in sexy togas and wigs, and so I got stuck playing Paris with a mascara mustache painted on my face that was a nightmare to wash off. And another film I was in, same teacher, different year, a 12th grade English class project in lieu of final exam, in which we all played characters from things that we had read that past year, and they were supposed to be competing in a Survivor type game. I wish I could say that I played someone cool like Grendel or Grendel's mom or Lady Macbeth, but nope, I was Pip from Great Expectations. Here's something that I hope nobody has detected. I am prematurely graying. I found my first gray hair when I was 17, and I can't remember if I pulled it out or not. I think I did. It didn't make any difference. I found another one soon after in a different spot. They have only multiplied since then. It started mostly here, but now it's all through, and I don't think I'll ever color my hair to try to get rid of them. I like the color of my hair the way it is, and I don't want to change that. And it's not the kind of thing where you could just spray it and get rid of it. It's not the distinguished kind of graying. No, it's all throughout. Fortunately, most of the time, it doesn't show up on camera. For those people who have wondered why I don't film in HD, that's one of the reasons. Some of you have asked if I've ever written anything, published anything, if I ever would in the future. I don't know. It's not really something I'm focusing on right now. I do have a little binder full of short stories that I've written. I have a pretty good feeling that if I were to go back and reread them after all these years, I would feel like, ooh, these aren't very good. And I have not had good success with novel writing. The most that I have managed to eke out is a novella. And I don't know if that novella will ever be ready to see the light of day. Only one other person on the planet has read it right now, and even I haven't read it in 5 years, and I just don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if I'm satisfied with it. It's historical, it's set in the Victorian era, and I feel like the attention to detail is not there. Like, I didn't do a whole lot of research for it. That wasn't my focus. I wanted it to be about this relationship. It's not a romance, it's about an adoptive father-son relationship, and there's a betrayal of trust, but it has a weird gothic streak. Nothing supernatural, but a little bit morbid. It has to do with body snatching, you know, people stealing bodies from graves. Kind of a thing in Victorian England for a while. So that's what I wrote. I think we have far surpassed 25 facts now, so I'm gonna pull the plug on this before I reveal anything that's just too embarrassing. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching!